Hi friends, welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. I'm Rita, and today I wanted to share with you a card I designed to use for Valentine's Day. And so before we get started though, I did just want to cover a few things that are of importance. First of all, if you're watching here on Facebook Live, know that your likes and your comments are very welcome. It's just nice to know when you shout out hello. It's nice to know where you're watching from. But there is no pressure. The other thing is that if you're watching via YouTube, know that you can subscribe to the channel. And also, if you hit that notification icon, then you'll be notified each time there's new content that I've uploaded. So let's go ahead and get started. Also know that any of the items that you see today, they are for purchase in my online store at ritaspapermotif.com. While you're there at ritaspapermotif.com, you can also see other card tutorials. Plus, if you scroll all the way down on the home page, you can subscribe to my newsletter. This year I've started a whole bunch of new things on the newsletter that are only going to be available on the newsletter. So if you want to participate and you want to see what's going on a weekly basis, at least I try to get a newsletter out every week, then sign up. And let's get started. So, I feel like telling others that you love them or showing that you care about them is really important. It's important to them, and it feels good to those of us that are expressing that emotion. And I think life would be really sad if we didn't have those around us that we can love, and those that love us just would be kind of lonely. And so even though I don't think you need one special day a year to say you love someone, or you are thinking of them, or they're special to you, hopefully we say that as often as we can. But Valentine's Day is especially like to send out Valentines on Valentine's Day. It's kind of a day that we all look forward to a little Valentine, right? I mean, we've been doing it since we were in elementary school, right? And so it's with that in mind that this week I'm devoting to creating my Valentine's cards, and I'd like to share those with you. So I did share one yesterday here on Facebook and on Instagram. If you like that, you can hop on over to ritaspapermotif.com and just get an idea for how I created it. It is a fun fold. But today we're going to be creating something different. So the card that we're going to be creating today is using some product out of the annual catalog. And we're using this stamp set. Plus, when I got my stamp set, I got it as a bundle. So what was really good is that these words can be die cut out. But even if you don't have the dies, there's still this. It's so full. It's such a full stamp set that you can mix and match your words. You can rearrange them. And, you can, even on a card that you need the word you can still use that you for your card. And then, of course, there's other little sentiments that you can use along with it. You can break up the, so much love or much love. You can break that up. You can just use the word love, or, just a whole combination of things that we could probably talk about it for a long time. But it returned to this catalog from the last catalog. So my guess is, I'm not sure after may, if this is still going to be around or not, worthwhile to have in your inventory because you can use it so many different ways. But we're going to use this today. I'm also going to use the die set today with that. And then also on the card, we're going to be using this punch. It's the Country Bouquet. And I really like this punch. I like the fact that you can get 2 different size hearts. You could get a smaller heart and a larger heart. And the heart has a little like a, I want to say almost like a hint of a teardrop right here, which is, you know, just great for those, for our cards. And then I guess these are meant, well, these are meant to be leaves, but you don't have to use them just in green. You can use them for other colors to decorate your card. So what a versatile punch as well. Now, I will tell you this, and that is that I don't get rid of my punches. I keep them. And the reason I keep them is because you can use them over and over. And, you know, to pull out a punch when you need it is a great thing to have. So that punch is available in my online store. So if you are wanting to add that to your inventory, know that you can do so. And then there's something else that it is like, whew, I feel like Stampin' Up! Was just listening to me. And they were looking at my wish list, and they came through for me. So what I've always wanted to get, and I looked into getting one for a while, and just, I don't know what happened, I gave it a second thought, I think, was a brayer. Now, originally when I became interested in the brayer, it was to use it with my jelly mat and to put ink on the jelly mat and then make impressions like with stamps and then to pick it up on my layers, right? And I tried to use the ink just on the jelly mat. So the jelly mat's like a big, huge polymer stamp. But I just couldn't get that. I would get like strips, like dark parts of ink. I couldn't get it level and just what I needed. And so I thought, well, okay, so the person I saw doing it did use a brayer. And I thought, well, I'll look for one. I did look for one, but in the package it seemed kind of big and it was kind of expensive. And so I don't know. I said, well, I'll go home and think about it and I'll come back and get it if I want it. Well, for some reason, I didn't do that. But Stampin' Up! Has added that to the inventory, and it's in the new mini catalog. So there's so many things that you can do with this. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to take, let me get this open here. I like to take my embossing folders and open them up, and you know you have a raised side, which is the embossed side, and you have a side that is the debossed side. So what I like to do is to take my brayer, put it in the ink, and then on whatever side I'm looking to color, then I just run my brayer along that side, and it gets ink on it, of course, and then I run it through my embossing machine, and the embossed piece comes out with the ink right where I want it. So depending on like what you're doing and what colors, it's perfect. If you want background that's colored, or if you want the raised part to be colored, you know, it's perfect. And it's so striking, especially like if you're trying to do like a snowflake thing, it's just perfect. So this was an answer to my wish list, and it's in the new mini catalog. It does come like in a suite, but you can get it separately, and that's what I did. And it's just perfect. So I used that on my card, and I'm going to show you what I did with it. But I just wanted to show you what it looked like. I'm going to be using this quite a bit. So if you think you might be interested in a brayer in different ways that I use it, then, you know, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and get notifications. And also, if you turn on your notification button on Facebook, then you can always know when I'm uploading that content. All right, so, and the beauty about all of this is that when you make purchases, from either catalog or a combination thereof. If your purchase is in the amount of $50 before shipping and handling, then you get to choose a free item from our celebration catalog. Now, celebration will go on till the end of February, so we kind of don't want to wait too late, right? Because it's per $50 increment, so it's not like you can do $20 today and $30 next week or whatever. It's each purchase of that amount of $50. So if you make that purchase of $50 before shipping and handling, you can choose items out of the catalog that are offered for that amount, for either $50, or if you make a purchase of $100, again, before shipping and handling, then you can pick out an item from the $100 category, or you could get two $50 items as well. So great way to add, we have designer series paper, we have stamp sets, embossing folders, we have embellishments. We actually have a bundle in here as well. So it is a great way to add inventory. And one of the things that I'm using today is this designer series paper. It's called Most Adored. And we're going to be using that in the card today. And I did want to show you that while I have it here. Trying to just show you all this stuff before we get going, because once we get going, we can just concentrate on the card. And so here is the designer series paper, and I wanted to show it to you. You get 2 sheets of each, and as always, our designer series paper comes double-sided, and they coordinate together. Coordinate well together. Sometimes our designer series paper comes in 6x6, but I really do enjoy the 12x12 because I can also use it for my scrapbooking. So it's just wonderful. But this particular set of designer series paper, this is one side of a sheet. It has this gold embossing on here. And this these images that are like in gold are floral. And so what is awesome about this is that you can use your Stampin' Blends, your alcohol markers, and you could use them to color the florals, and then you can fussy cut them and use them, on your card, or you could just use cut out whatever layer or shape or size you want. But this is it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and I have a lot of ideas of how I'd like to use this too. The gold just always adds so much elegance to your card. Plus, the nice thing is this doesn't add a lot of elevation. So one of the things that happens with my Christmas cards is I had them all done, of course, got them all addressed, and as I was stamping them, I realized that most of them needed 2 stamps on it, because what I didn't want is I didn't want the postage and everything. So I'm certain I didn't err on the side of caution. I'm pretty certain that it was a good idea to add those extra stamps to those cards that I needed. And I was happy with the card, so I guess that really isn't something I'd change. But I have decided that I might like to try doing cards that take just 1 stamp if I can. Now, hand-delivered cards are always the exception, right? But this gives the illusion of a lot of texture, and it's beautiful. Now, so this is one side. This is the other side, and you can see I've already cut into it. So this looks like polka dots. Maybe that's how it looks like to you in the camera range, but those are really little hearts. So red background with little hearts. And, isn't that great, like for Valentine's? It's just great. And so I've already cut into that, obviously, as I just said. And here's the next sheet, which is some more gold foiling. I'll just say embossed, but it's not raised. And these are just little flecks in here. And then on the opposite side is the plaid side, and this could be used for all year long. It's be especially great in the spring, but I also like it for Valentine's Day. So I have a new thing that I'm going to try doing ink to get the ink spreads to get the plaid, but this is just exceptional and great. And you know what? It's for free. How can you go wrong when it's free? And here's another plaid or checked, whatever you want to call it. And it's also in the gold. So it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then on the opposite side is a pink. And this has some little hearts too. They're kind of like a very light pink. So that's the other side. And then another red. This is like a red, also another red plaid. It's got like real red and red in it. Just, I think it's beautiful. And this would even be good for a Christmas card if it were Christmas time, of course. But I just love that. And then the other side of that red plaid is this gold swirl. And I have tons of ideas that were racing through my head to use this side of the designer series paper. I especially think that the basic border dies and this paper in my studio are going to become an item. So love it. And then one more I want to show you, and this is, oh, I have two more, sorry. And then this is just another gold. It has gold flecks in it. Actually, they're kind of like leaves. I'm looking at it closely. Kind of like a leaf or just a little shape in there. But again, it's like the gold foil. And, you know, this, I think it'd be perfect with, like those brushed butterflies. I mean, just bringing another pop of gold in here would be perfect, I think. And then on the other side, you have like an ombre effect of pink. And the beauty of these, of this designer series paper is it coordinates with our ink. So whether you want Blushing Bride ink or Blushing Bride cardstock or designer series paper that has the color Blushing Bride, they're all going to coordinate. The shades are all going to be the same. You're not going to have to like, I mean, they're just going to coordinate, and that's the beauty of Stampin' Up. And then we have one last one, and this kind of reminds me of the bark of aspen trees. And I guess I'm saying that because we have snow on the ground right now. So, you know, the trees aren't the focus. When I grew up, that we in the country, we had a lot of aspen trees, and it just the striations of the bark looked very much like this. But this is in gold, and it's so, so beautiful. On the opposite side are pinks with darker pink hearts. So all of this is not only beautiful, which it is, I'm sure you agree, but how much more beautiful is it when it's for free with a purchase? So you definitely want to consider that when you're, you know, wanting to add to your inventory. So a card that I want to share with you today is this Valentine's card. And remember I told you that I was looking to, yes, I want nice and pretty cards. I want elegant cards. But I want to kind of take a break a little bit on the postage if I can. So I don't want to sacrifice the beauty of the card, but if I can get the same beautiful card and not have to put 2 stamps, then I'm all for that. So let's talk about how I made that card, because that's what I want to make with you today while you're watching. So I'm going to put that to the side, and then I'm going to get all my materials out, and we'll make this together. Now, I did want to forewarn you is that I am I'm healing from an outbreak of eczema. So my hands are still a little red, but they don't hurt. And so I just want you to know, if you see them, don't panic. It's okay. But it's also very cold here, and so sweaters are the way to go, right? All right, so we're going to start with a basic white card base, and This measures 8.5 by 5.5. So 5.5, 8.5. And then I just put it in my trimmer with the long side up, the 8.5 side up, and then I just scored it at 4.25. Now what we're going to do with that is we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to secure this card. I already have it scored, and I did a lot of this beforehand because, you know, I don't want to be here all day. I'm sure you have things to do too, but it's just great to craft with you today. So that's what we're going to do. So I just ran the bone folder down the card just to crease that fold. We'll put that aside for now. And then we're going to talk about other pieces. So what I like to do is to layer my layers, of course. That's kind of redundant, isn't it? But I like what black does to the cards. It just gives it a little, it just makes them pop a little. And I think, when I think of Thanksgiving, Valentine Day colors, I think of red, black, and white. And of course, pink and purples. Those are all optional too. So I thought I would just start with what I consider kind of to be basic Valentine colors, the red, black, and white. And so let's go ahead and do that. So this is the bottom layer. Now the front of my card measures 4.25 by 5.5, right? So if I want to put a layer on that, I don't want to cover up that white front. I want to use that, you know, that's good real estate, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my first layer so that about 1/4 of an inch on all 1/4 of an inch sideways and lengthwise, so that it gives it a border. So I did do that out of black, and normally you could go ahead and adhere this to the front of your card, but there's something that I wanted to share with you. If I did that, and after I put my textured layer on here, I don't want a lot of black. I just want a hint of black. I wouldn't have an option to control how much margin I'm seeing. So if I go ahead and glue the next or adhere the next layer on top of that, then if I need to trim, I'll have that option. And so here is that embossed, it's polka dot embossed. And then of course, remember I told you I took my brayer and I just rolled it on the top so that those little dots that come up are the ones that get the black ink, and then the background is still white. I didn't want a lot of color on here. I just wanted to draw the attention to the fact that this does have texture, and it's going to sit on this black, basic black cardstock. So I do like the white card bases, but I didn't want to drown in white either. I wanted color as, well, we like color in our lives, right? So I wanted to enhance the color, not drown in it. So that was kind of like the whole thought of coloring the embossed part, the raised part. Plus, we all know when we get a new toy, right, we need to play with it. So when we get new product, we want to play with it. And I am over the moon with that brayer. So what a nice thing to do is to be able to use it on my Valentine's card. So, you know, if you have a brayer and if you're liking your brayer, go ahead and comment in the comment section. If you haven't tried the brayer, then I want to encourage you to. Now, the good thing about when we do our embossing is that we're going to emboss first, and then I emboss first, and then I cut my layer down to size. And I'm taking this out of the camera range because it's snowing here. We have a lot of snow and it's super bright, so I can't really, you know, because my head's not right over the camera, I couldn't really see the white glue on the white paper. So I just did pull it off so that I could be a little more accurate. And what I'm doing here is, I know it's off. That's intentional. I'm trying to get my decorative embossed layer on here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it off. So you could bring out your little personal trimmer, or you can use your bigger trimmer if you want. But I want to have the same size margins on all sides. So I'm just going to cut this down. And I may have to cut twice. I'd rather cut it not small enough and then recut than to cut it too small and foil all of that work. So let's just take that off. So maybe just a tad more. And I want to get it straight here. Okay. I don't think I took anything off. Let's try that again. I can feel like the blade went over it because it's a little rough, but I'm a little nervous here. Okay. All right. So, then let's just do that top part because we kind of want the margins as even as we can. And you know what? I can tell you that when I send my cards out to family and friends, I really don't feel like they judge me. So if it's off a little, let's not panic, but it's the thought that counts, right? I mean, how dare someone? Let's see here. I hope I don't get my head in the camera, but I don't want to cut it too close to that. Let's see here. There, I heard that cut. All right, I'm going to stop there because I don't want it to be cut it too small. So let's go ahead. Now we can adhere this to our card base because it's small enough now that it will work. And so let's go ahead and do that. And so I am going to use liquid glue, and I'll tell you why, and that is because for this, because there's texture, and I just feel that the liquid glue would get where it needs to go a little bit better. And I'm going to bring this, I just need to ask you to forgive me because I need to bring this closer. It's one thing to be a little bit off, but I don't want to be a lot off, and I need to. Okay, there we go. So there is that. We're going to set it to the side, and then we're going to be working on some more layers. So here is, I want to use this designer series paper. Remember, it's the gold on one side and the red and the little hearts on this side. This is going to be, this is going to go with diamond shape on the front of my card. But I don't want to put it on here yet because I want to build those layers. So this is a 3x3 square. And then, of course, you're going to cut the next layer just a bit smaller. So this is about 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we're going to glue it just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can glue it straight right now because we're not going to put it on a card till we get all of these layers built up. So let me get this close. It's what I like about the liquid glue is you have an option to manipulate it a little bit, whereas you don't with some of the other adhesives. So there we go. So there's that, and it is going to go diamond shape, right? And then I have another piece of designer series paper. This was 2 3/4. This is 2 1/2, and I am just going to go ahead and glue it. And another reason that I want to use the liquid glue is because of the gold on here. I just want my layers to stick, and I don't want to use too much glue, so I need to see what I'm doing. And I am going to stick this like this. And we're going to try to kind of like, you know, needs to be somewhat cohesive, right? And then for the very final layer, we're going to have another white that goes right like this. And so this is going to be the final layer, right? And we're going to put that right like this. So you can see, because we have layers, we are going to have texture, and we'll have some elevation, of course, and we'll have color, which is what we want. All right, so this is ready to go onto our card base now. And let's go ahead and do that. And we are going to want to, again, glue it in a diamond shape. And we just kind of want to get it even. It's okay if it goes off that embossed shape, as long as it doesn't go off the card, and this doesn't. So there we go with that. Now, I really want to take that country punch and punch a heart shape, right? So I did do that. I used the bigger heart there, and that's out of Real Red. But remember, I've been talking about, my goal is to not, is to make it look like it has a lot of texture, a lot of elevation, and without costing too much in postage. So instead of using dimensionals to pop it up, what I did do is I cut 2 hearts and glued them together. And so that's kind of my way to give it some sturdiness and some elevation. So I've already done that. And then I really wanted to use some ribbon. But ribbon, even if you do like one of those faux bows, it still raises up your card, still gives it some dimension. And so I want the look of dimension or elevation, but I, again, want to try and keep it down. So what I did is I took some of our black twine, and I'm going to cut it. I think I want to cut it. I'm actually really not measuring it, just so you know. I'm just going to cut some. And what I like about the twine is it does give the illusion that ribbon would, right? But it's very lightweight, and it's kind of delicate too, so, you know, that's a good thing. And so what I did is I just wrapped it around my fingers. I'm gonna have to do it again, because one of the things that I'm gonna do is I'm going to take, I need to get it out here. I'm gonna take some tear and tape, and I'm gonna put some tear and tape behind my heart shape there. Let's see, I just need a little bit. I don't need very much at all, but that is going to help the twine to stick. So let's see, just a little bit. And then I'm going to get my take a pick tool. I'm going to take off, and I do have to bring this closer. I'm going to take off that release paper off of the tear and tape. And it's such a little piece of tear and tape that it really, that it really does take some good eyeballs there to get it off. All right. And then, so I'm just going to take this twine that I've, you know, wrapped around my fingers, and I'm going to put it on that. I'm going to stick it on that twine, right, like that. And I do want it to kind of fluff out a little, so that's okay if it does. I just, yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to take this heart. Now you could glue it down, but this is where I'm going to grab a dimensional, and I'm going to put it on there, and that's because it will leave the twine free. And I don't know why this dimensional didn't have like that paper on it. So I don't know how that happened, but let's go ahead and stick it right here. And then we can stick our heart here as well. I think I got a little off. I did. Let me see if I can push it over. All right, and so I'm just going to stick the heart just right like that. So there we go, you know. And then, of course, I want a sentiment on here. So remember that we have that word, so much love. So that's one whole stamp. I'll show you. It's one whole stamp. But what I did was I masked this part off, and then I just stamped the word love and my memento. And then I did, to double check, because I didn't want to have to be redoing it a lot, I did double check, and then I did take a wipey, a baby wipe, and I made sure that it's actually the word much. Right up here, I did make sure that those letters were cleaned off. So when I stamped the whole stamp, that I just got the word that I wanted. You could do that on some regular white paper, or you could also, if you have the die set, go ahead and die cut the word love, and it's going to go right down here. Now you could use your adhesive strips if you wanted to, and then that would be easy. You wouldn't have to try to finagle the glue. But I'm just using glue. And the reason I'm doing that is, again, I'm putting this on some very textured paper. So it's the embossed. And I'm just going to put my word love right here. Okay. And then, of course, we want to decorate the inside right. So you can stamp whatever you want here. On the inside of this, I did stamp you. So you could definitely do that. Again, you're going to want to mask it off because you don't want... the stamp is for you, so you just want the U there. And I'm going to go ahead and decorate the inside. So let's get some ink right here on the edge. And I think yep, I did. I have to double check that. All right, and so I'm just going to... put this on the inside, and this is about 3/4 of an inch wide, and then I knew that my card base was 5.5, so you know, that's what I planned on. Otherwise, you can just cut a strip that's 3/4 inch and then just cut it off. Use the back of your card as a guide. And so then when you put that word you on your card. I thought I had that ready to go. Let me see here. Otherwise, I'll just leave it and let you do your own. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and try it. So we're looking for you. And I know that this stamp is longer than this acrylic block, but I know the word you will fit perfectly on it. And I'll take my memento ink, and we're going to tap, tap, tap. I want to get that word you with ink on it. Because once I stamp in there, I'm not, you could use your stamp apparatus, but once I stamp in there, it's going to be too difficult to re-stamp. So let's make sure we have plenty of ink. I am going to take a baby wipe, and I get my baby wipes from the dollar store. and this is what I use them for. I don't clean my, you know, when my stamps have ink on them, I don't clean them with the baby wipe. But I will, when I'm doing this, I do. So I didn't see that I had enough ink on that word, on that Y. So let me just try that again. All right, and I'm going to clean off the excess ink on the word for, because this stamp says for you, and I just want the word you. Okay, I think I have it. Let's get rid of that baby wipe. Let's cover our ink because that could get messy. And then we're going to stamp inside here. So normally I like to stamp like on the inside at the lower edge, but for this I'm going to try and stamp right in the middle. So hopefully I'm getting this straight without getting my head in the camera. And hopefully I'm where you can see me. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and stamp it. So press, press, press. Let it absorb some of that ink. And there we go. There's the word with the country bouquet punch. And I'm going to put those around that word you. And I also am wanted to remind you that we like to, or I like to, decorate my envelopes too. I haven't been doing it on my videos, but do know that that's something that you know, you can definitely do. And you could use this to decorate the back, or you could, you know, I wouldn't probably glue a heart because I'll tell you what, we don't have control over what happens to our envelopes once it gets to the post office, right? So I probably wouldn't put anything that could be scraped off. So there we go. There's that card, and it would fit in a medium-sized envelope, and you can decorate your envelope however you might want. You could yeah, there's a million things that you can do with that. And so there's our Valentine's card. And also know that, you know, with this card, you could change it up. Any different colors of designer series paper or cardstock would work. A different embossing folder would work. And this would work beautiful with like a floral embossing folder. And we have a lot of embossing folders in our catalog. In our catalog that you could choose from, and you can just use them over and over and over. You could put them on, you could change this out to be a red card base if you wanted to. You could even use more pinks and whites and different colors, but this is the one I chose. And you know, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like it. And also know that you can go to ritaspapermotif.com for the tutorial. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I enjoyed making this card with you, and I hope that I'll see you back next week, and then you can check throughout the week to see what other card ideas I've had. And then as soon as I can, it usually takes about a day after I post, you can see them on the blog and get the dimensions. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, and see you next week. Bye now.